I wasn't planning on making a video about this because I don't really think the story in itself is all that interesting. However, now that I'm seeing people come out and tell all their stories about the Flying Colors Foundation, I'm concerned about the way that the story is being presented in terms of how it affects me or guys like Mother's Basement, who, as far as I know, probably just talked to them literally once because he didn't seem to be involved at all in this thing. And I was at best tangentially, but I want to talk about like why I was involved and what I thought they were doing. And I mean, for all I know, is what they were doing because honestly, all this like stuff that's been brought out about them has no context. Like it's all very strange seeing these things, and I don't know what the context is. So like I'm as confused as anybody else about what the fuck these guys were trying to do. But like the evidence that they are a scam is like questionable at best. It is so much easier to think of this as just totally incompetent and like couched in misunderstanding about both them not understanding the anime community and the anime community just not understanding them because they never communicated what the fuck was going on, and then it all just kind of blew up at once. But as I had understood them, these guys were three dudes who were just at Crunchyroll Expo who were going around talking to anime YouTubers telling them about this thing they were doing where like they were planning on trying to get involved in like the process of how anime productions are handled, where like they thought that like the production bureaus that are currently operating in Japan were just not doing a good enough job at like marketing their shows. They weren't making the kind of shows people wanted to see, and they weren't marketing those shows to a big enough audience. That was what they saw as the problems in the anime industry, and I happen to agree that those are the problems in the anime industry. So whether or not their methodology was correct at all, and we're going to get into that because what they were promising that they were going to do is totally different from what they were actually doing at the time that they disbanded. And honestly, you know, this is why I'm not like coming out in like defense of them in a big way because I don't fucking know. Like sure, maybe they were a scam. I wasn't involved enough to tell, but like I think that like to me it looked like they were trying to do something good at the time because I agree with their opinions of like what is wrong. And so they were sort of trying to look for ways. Like they didn't have exactly a clear-cut goal in mind, but they were trying to like collaborate with YouTubers as like people who they felt represented like the largest unified voice in the anime community, which they kind of are. And I know that sounds weird and egocentric, and I'm not even talking about myself really, because the fact of the matter is that anime fans have always been extremely scattered. Anime fans have always been on forums, they've always been in anime clubs, and sure, there's conventions, which are a real safe bet, and that's why they were at a convention, because a convention has like 45,000 anime fans in one place. Well, guess what the Anime Man has? 1 million anime fans in one place, sometimes, on one video. So, like, these guys see anime fans as like they can reach, or anime YouTubers as like these guys can reach the largest number of English speaking anime fans. So these people are who Crunchyroll is marketing to, these people are who everyone else is marketing to, and while Crunchyroll has connections to these people, Crunchyroll does not even fucking try to work with YouTubers in a serious way. Look, when I was first growing as an anime channel, when I was around like 120,000 subscribers, Crunchyroll got in contact with me about a sponsorship link. And the kind of stuff that they were offering to do for me was just like not how YouTube works. They were telling me like, hey, we can give you like approved clips to show of our shows, and like if there's clips you need, we can run it by and see if we can get them. I'm like, dude, I have to make a video every fucking week. I don't have time to wait for that. You guys need to work with those Japanese companies and if you want to market through fucking YouTubers, make the environment good for YouTubers. But no one's done that. No one has come through and made it so it's actually possible. Like, all the shilling that we do as anime YouTubers is like nothing compared to what we should be doing. Look at like what JonTron gets paid to do, where he'll get handed a huge check from Ubisoft to like show himself playing Far Cry Primal. Just put full screen footage and barely even commentate over it. Just show gamers what this game looks like, because you have millions of fucking viewers. That is how it is in other markets that actually understand the power of YouTube, because that shit worked. But these people don't. And so they barely try to work with YouTubers. And Flying Colors understood that there needs to be closer work with these people because they have so much reach. And the way they saw it, that like they wanted to get a sense of like what are anime fans looking for. And so they were trying to run surveys, and they started with which I thought was clever, the top 100 anime or top 1000 anime of all time survey, because it was just the largest survey of that nature ever given of the Western fan base. What that proved is that Joey the Anime Man, who was the only person really pushing this thing, has enough clout that he can run the biggest survey of this nature ever given in anime fandom. Think about that. That's what they wanted to communicate to the Japanese sponsors. Now, when they told me about their plans, and yeah, they gave me $100 for a consultation, they had not said anything about being a nonprofit at this point. They had never presented themselves to me or anybody as a nonprofit. They were not registered as a nonprofit. They had not said anything about we're not giving money to creators. So, you know, if that's a lie, it happened later. But, like, at the time, they were just like, hey, we'll give you $100 to consult with us, like have a first meeting for an hour. And I was like, you're telling me that an hour of my time is worth $100? I'm officially a rock star. So yes. And that's what they wanted me to feel like. And I knew that at the time, because these people were trying to turn YouTubers into rock stars. That is actually what their goal was. And here's why. They'd already succeeded, because one of them was a member of 88 Rising. You may have heard of these guys because they're a huge record label that came out of nowhere last year. But they're not really presented as a record label. They're kind of presented as like just a weird entity that promotes things. What they had done, because these guys are all Korean Americans who are in this group, and they were working with other Korean American artists. So everyone in Flying Colors Foundation, I mean. So, like, as well as 88 Rising. They had taken these Korean-American rappers who were doing a very different style from what was popular in Korea, and they had them go to Korea, rap in this style in Korean, and they made them stars in Korea. This translated over to U.S. success as well because of the fact that Korean culture and U.S. culture are so close together. They also, you know, got Joji on board, who was already popular because of Filthy Frank. They gave him an outlet to explore the new musical style he wanted to go in that, you know, other labels probably were not going to want Filthy Frank on them. But these guys had the vision, you know? So they've gotten really big, and they've done all kinds of big shows and shit like that. So these guys wanted to do the same thing to anime YouTubers, and the reason that they were saying anyways that they wanted to do this, and, you know, maybe I am a fucking totally blue-eyed, naive child for believing that this is what they wanted it for, but they were saying that the idea was the more clout YouTubers have, the more we can sell the anime industry on the idea that, like, we've got some pull on what people want. Like, if we have millions of subscribers worth of YouTubers, like, all they really wanted from us was our numbers. They even told me that. They were like, we want you because you've got the number 375,000, and when you add that into all these other big numbers, it totals to several million, and we can just go to Japanese companies and tell them, here's several million subscribers worth of advertising power. How do we leverage this to market different anime from what we're currently marketing? Because they know that if they get a guy like me and they, like, you know, want to market some really obscure anime, get me with Trigger. Like, I've said this 1,000 times. If, like, Kyoto Animation or Trigger got in contact with me and was like, let's fucking use you to promote a new show, I'd be like all the way guns blazing because I just want to promote good art. You know, I'm willing to shill for something good, but like it has to be good in the first place. How do we make that possible? So, you know, and of course, I'm the kind of guy who's going to back down if it turns out it's not good. So don't rely on me if you're going to try to, you know, pull a fast one. You know, but point being that these guys sold me on the vision, but their plan, as they had explained to me, and this is the most important part, their plan was to get a government grant to assist them because the Japanese government was putting a lot of money into trying to, like, push Japanese culture to the rest of the world because culture is one of Japan's biggest exports. Everyone in the world loves anime. And it has been proven that the market for anime is way bigger than how much it makes, which means that it's a fucking failure on their part that it's not making enough money. If the interest in the medium is far outweighing what it's actually, you know, how it's profiting, it means that the entire way it's being sold is wrong. And they haven't really figured out how to change that yet. So Flying Colors thought that if we propose this radical YouTuber idea and we have all these millions of subscribers and we tell the Japanese government this, we will get a grant. That is what they went to Japan to do in December. I didn't hear from them for a while. Then all of a sudden people started throwing allegations at them throughout January. Now, I was in a podcast where I talked about my involvement. I was pretty fucking transparent the whole way through about what I thought they were and, you know, who they were. I mean, some of the information that's been presented as new, I literally stated months ago. Back in January, we did a live stream on Pause and Select's channel where I told people that I'm pretty sure I mentioned having been paid. I mean, I know I bragged about that in my Discord all day the day it happened. I was open about the fact that I got paid by these guys to do this. I was open about the fact that one of them worked for Loot Crate and the other one was like a fucking weapons dealer for the US government or something. Like, I said all that in these old chats that somehow didn't come to light, and then I say, oh, they paid me $100, and that somehow, when I told Lachlan that I was okay with them sourcing me on that quote, that somehow turned into a screenshot of my Discord message blown up all the way across a page. Think maybe a little more tasteful next time, please. And then another article comes out the next day, and suddenly Flying Colors Foundation sends me a message that's just like, oh, we've ended the Flying Colors Foundation, sorry if it caused any trouble for you. And I was just like, I mean, you didn't cause any trouble for me. You just kind of killed yourselves. And honestly, I think that what happened was, and this is when they finally did contact me again, like, right when this controversy started stirring up, they got into a call with me once more, and there was really nothing going on. We just kind of, like, small talked for a little bit, and then they were like, hey, is this drama, like, a problem for you? Like, and I was like, I don't even know what the drama is yet. Like, I don't really understand what's going on yet, so I'm still with you guys. You know, whatever. But I guess now they're completely gone, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. But now that I'm seeing people be like, oh, they were trading, like, endorsement deals for promotion, like, that is a total mischaracterization of what was going on. First of all, Flying Colors never asked me to promote them, and I made a huge mistake by doing it, because they were not prepared. Like, they were not completely set up yet, and I just started talking about them because I was excited for the idea of what they were trying to do, and I was, like, trying to stir up attention for it before it even started, because I was trying to get on my good boy kick where I start promoting things that I think are good. So, like, which is now, like, I'm full blown into that. Like, that's what I've been trying to do now, is, like, be more of a promoter for things I think are cool. But in this case, you know, the vision I was fucking with, but the methodology, because, again, I had been told that they were going to go get a government grant. They return suddenly in March, and they've just got another survey. And I was not that impressed with the survey, so I wasn't really planning to talk about the survey. Like, they were kind of shopping it around as, like, make a video about this, and I was like, this is not exciting enough to make a video about. Call me back when you've got something substantial, and now they're gone, so whatever. But yeah, separately from this project, we were talking about like the possibilities in merchandising because again, they were trying to like make YouTubers just grow in general. That was also they also just liked my stuff and also one of them does music, so we were talking about possibly working on musical stuff. Like I, just saw these guys as they're promoters who are basically going to try to promote anime. And so I was like, yeah, I'll work with you guys as promoters as well, but I was not trading anything with them. I literally made a video before they were ready, and then when they actually told me to make a video, I was just like, no, I'm not promoting another fucking survey, because you can just get the Anime Man to promote that. You don't need me to do that. Like, I'm the fucking Otaku Gonzo journalist. Come to me when you've got some Gonzo news. And now it's Gonzo news because they're dead. And if I don't say anything, then I somehow look conspicuous, even though I'm not fucking involved in this shit at all. Even though you can say yes, that I, like, promoted them, even though they didn't ask me to. And also that they wanted to do, like, clothes with me, but we never ended up even actually doing it, like, because I literally got so lazy. Like, I was literally telling my fans back in December, I'm gonna try to release t-shirts before Christmas, and then I didn't get it done because, like, I just wasn't satisfied enough with, like, my content to make t-shirts for it. But that's coming. I'm just going to do it myself because I literally don't trust anybody anymore. I signed up with Studio 71 last year. They got hacked, got me hacked, and then never did anything for me all year. So fuck Studio 71. Flying Colors, you guys, you're still fine in my book, but I mean, you're dead now, so I don't have to I don't have to say fuck you. It doesn't matter. Goodbye.